The latest Nintendo Direct has happened, and it has proven one thing. The Nintendo Switch 2 isn't necessarily a slow burn, but rather a slow drip feed of games. And while I get a lot of people want as much as possible shown as soon as possible, this shows that there will be a lot to look forward to over a long period of time for the Switch 2. All right, so after a 60-minute Nintendo Direct, I got 4 major takeaways. 1, we basically have a game a month. Some of them are upgrades, some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. But nonetheless, if you're a Switch 2 user or even a Switch user, you got something to look forward to pretty consistently. Takeaway number 2, 2026 is going to be a big year for Nintendo. Basically every major announcement they had, with the exception of Metroid Prime 4's release date, which is this year, everything is expected to be in 2026. Big takeaway number 3. If they can do the Virtual Boy, then what else can they do? They can make a cardboard DS, maybe? And takeaway number 4. Resident Evil 9 Requiem is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 on launch day. This is a big takeaway because historically, you never really know how AAA games are going to do on the Switch 2, especially third-party ones. And seeing Capcom commit to having its new flagship Resident Evil game launch day of on the Nintendo Switch 2 is emblematic that the language around Nintendo's consoles is changing. Okay, set the expectation for the rest of the video. I'm just going to go through a lot of the major announcements and kind of talk through what I think. Now, of course, this is the 40th anniversary of Mario, and while we did not get necessarily a new Mario game, we did get news about a new Mario movie. Chris Pratt. I like how they had to say, we got Chris Pratt back. Like, was there ever like a moment when that wasn't gonna happen?
No Seth Rogen though, as DK.
Oh, maybe because he's got his own movie in the mix. Speculation. Also, why would Donkey Kong be in space? Why would he be in Galaxy?
He's too busy being underground.
Yeah, punching his way, trying to figure out how to get Pauline's music career going. Speaking of Galaxy, they also took this as an opportunity to announce that Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are coming to the Switch 2. And here's the, what does that mean for the Super Mario 3D All-Star folks? Like, obviously that game, isn't available to purchase anymore, but I'm one of the people who bought that game. So am I going to be rebuying Super Mario Galaxy 1 again?
Once they add Sunshine on backwards compatible for the GameCube, that whole collection, irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because they already had a 64.
Admittedly, that was just kind of a Nintendoism, and the moment they showed that, I was like, well, all right, okay. I don't know if they said that if you could buy Super Mario Galaxy 2 on its own. I'm assuming.
I think it's a collection.
But like even if you buy it digitally?
Oh, I actually don't know. It's $70 though for both. It's kind of a lot.
Yeah, but that's Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it.
Mario Tennis Fever. To be completely honest, this is the first time a Mario sports game actually kind of seemed like something I would want to play. I actually was kind of into how much they were showing off, but
Adventure mode looks cool.
Yeah.
You ever play the Game Boy Advance Mario Tennis?
No.
That has like a whole story mode.
But
you play as like some kids and you have to fight Mario or something like that. I don't remember. It was pretty good.
This time they actually, I feel like they put a literal baby mode in this game.
Oh.
And a lot of people just call Nintendo games baby games. Well, there you go. Also, speaking of Mario Tennis, I lied. I did play another Mario Tennis game that absolutely ruled, and it was Mario Tennis for the Virtual Boy, which we'll get into later. I had a Virtual Boy when I was a kid, so I'm actually really pumped about this. We also got a look at Super Mario Bros. Wonder for the Switch 2 edition, which also adds an entirely new, what is it called? Babella Park, which seems to be adding a lot of interesting, cool new multiplayer modes. Ones for cooperative play as well as sort of messing with your friends. This is tried and true Nintendo practices at this point. Every time they kind of port one game over to the other console, they kind of add like a big new hefty DLC to it. They did this with Super Mario 3D World, where they added Bowser's Fury.
Kirby, just last week.
Kirby with last week. This Super Luigi U was added to New Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, this is a tried and true thing that they do, but cool. Then we had a bunch of Switch games, Switch 1 games, but the standout, the one that they took the most time to give some tender loving care, was none other than Tomadachi Life Living the Dream, which seemed like a little weird fever dream that I'm very excited about because I love Miis. I wish the Miis had more integration into the Nintendo ecosystem. And they have weird, funny voices and they sound terrifying and I can't wait. But again, in sort of what you'll see as the trend for this direct is 2026. So Tomadachi 2026, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Wonder and its DLC 2026, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 2026. So there's the trend at the moment. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Now every single time a new Yoshi game, I'm always so excited because the art style of those games is always impeccable and this game follows suit. I absolutely adore what this game looks like. But every single time I've purchased a Yoshi game, I've never finished it because, frankly, I get a little bored. They're a little too easy.
You mentioned Baby Game earlier.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about Yoshi games.
Yeah.
They look cool, but
yeah. So this is
they're
like one of
clearly
those.
not for me.
Yeah. This is one of those cases where I would like this game, but I know that I'll probably end up dropping $60, $70, how much ever it is, and likely not to finish it, just to look at it for a while and be like, man, they know how to do their art. Also, 2026 release. Now, probably one of the cooler announcements, I would say, is Hades 2. This game's been in early access for a hot minute, but this is the first time it's actually getting a definitive release date. And I know I've been saying 2026 is the theme of this thing, but that is a game that's coming out very soon, September 25th, for the Switch 2. So,
And everywhere else.
And everywhere else. But, you heard it there first at that thing. Kirby Air Riders also made an appearance with a pretty cool twist on the amiibos, I must say. So this time, they do have the traditional old amiibo jazz, but in fashion with the game, you can switch riders. I think this is probably one of the first times where they tried to experiment a little bit more with the use of amiibos by actually making them swappable.
The way you can in the game, which is cool.
Which is pretty sweet. That's awesome.
And there's going to be another direct with Sakurai, which I'm looking forward to that. Because that direct was incredible.
Has that guy didn't that guy have an IV and wasn't he hooked up to an IV while he was working on Smash Bros at one point?
I think so.
The guy just doesn't stop. I hope he takes a break and eats a sandwich or something. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, the next sort of Dynasty Warriors style game in the Zelda universe. This time bringing in elements from Tears of the Kingdom. So now you could actually use some of the items that you use to build vehicles in Tears of the Kingdom as weapons in this game. I think you saw Zelda using a giant fan at one point where she tossed it in the center and sucked up a bunch of dudes and then got out another item, then electrocuted the tornado and then started electrocuting all the enemies.
That's cool. Has a release date now.
When is it? Coming out this year, November 6th. Again, this is actually a really good example of a game a month. So obviously Hades 2 is coming to many platforms, but that is going to be September. So we got something this month. Then for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, November 6th. So Hades 2 is September. Pokemon ZA is October. And then we have Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment in November. That's pretty stacked.
And then
Metroid Prime 4 Beyond,
December
4th. They're all pretty much almost like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow, that's rock solid. Speaking of Pokemon, we also got the announcement of Pokemon Pokopia. Is that how you say it?
I have no idea. Sure.
Pokopia. Pokemon Pokopia.
It's like a weird Animal Crossing kind of Minecraft-y Pokemon game with a freaky Ditto that mimics a human. It's nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah, you play as a Ditto that mimics a human. What is going on there? Yeah, it's basically like Minecraft meets Animal Crossing in the Pokemon world. So it's very Animal Crossing in the way that you design an island, and it looks like the Pokemon are in ways like your villagers.
Yeah,
right?
because you can make houses for them.
Yeah, and then there's the crafting element where you kind of beat into the land, and then you take those elements and craft.
Yeah,
things.
which Animal Crossing also has, but the specific blockiness of it that's the Minecraft kind of vibe.
You wouldn't have guessed. 2026 release date. All right, now here's the thing that really kind of like blew me away, but not so much in a way that I'm surprised they did it, but it inspired me for what could be done, and that is the Virtual Boy. I think it is wild that they're doing this, like absolutely wild that they're doing this. I think this is a real testament to Nintendo owning its legacy and trying to do justice to its history in a way that feels respectful. And I never in a million years would have actually thought they would do it. In fact, when they revealed it, I almost thought it was a prank. Like, I just didn't think it was real. Like, there's no way they were gonna do that. And so as one of 2 people in the world who actually own one, when one came out, I've always said that the best Wario game I've ever played is on the Virtual Boy, and now I get to play it again, which is sick. And more people get to experience those games because there were some really rock solid games that were on that console, including the Mario Tennis game, which I played a lot and gave me motion sickness when I was a kid and made my eyes burn because you told you to take a break like every hour, not this guy.
Something they didn't mention in the direct, $100 for the Virtual Boy thing, but you can get a cardboard version for like $25.
Yep.
Which, at least there's some more accessible versions. That's kind of nice.
Look, as much as I would like to have sort of a model version of the original Virtual Boy, the reality is I will probably likely get the cardboard one because I don't want an extra accessory. We'll get it for the office. That'll be cool. But the thing that this really kind of got me excited about is the potential for knowing that Nintendo is experimenting with ways to repackage and redistribute their older games that fall into more experimental niche corners, like not just the DS, but the 3DS. I have no idea how they're going to tackle that if they choose to do that for Virtual Console, but at least seeing them do this with the Virtual Boy only means that they're going to do it for the DS, and it's going to be awesome. Because all you have to do is, like, you don't need to make a foldable system. You can just do the cardboard thing, slide your Switch in, you know, how you would, and then you have the 2 screens, right? And then, like, you could put the Joy-Cons on either side. Like, yeah, like... which means then we're going to have Hotel Dusk again. Come on. Come. Bring them back. Bring Kyle Hyde back. You know you wanna. You know you wanna. Now, we also got to look at a bunch of Switch 2 upgrade editions. I don't want to spend too much time on a lot of these, with the exception of one, which is Stardew Valley. And the only reason why I think this is really important of note is because they're adding mouse controls, which is sweet, and 4-player split screen, as well as game share. Those are notable things that would make people, I feel, would make people inclined to want to upgrade to the Switch 2. I also am a big fan of mouse control, so anytime that a game adds that is okay in my book. There was another sort of trend in this, and that was unexpected remakes coming to the Switch 2. Now, of course, probably the biggest one was Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, but then there was Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly remake, which kind of was out of left field. It didn't really like get me all too excited. But then there was the other one that was really out of left pocket, and that was Danganronpa 2. What is it called?
Goodbye Despair.
Yeah, you're a big fan.
Yeah, Danganronpa 2 is the best one. And it's real weird that they're remastering that game.
Yeah.
Looks great, though.
With additional story.
I'll probably not play it because those games are long, and I mean, maybe I'll play the new stuff, but I think that's cool. That's awesome. If you've never played Danganronpa, that's a good way to jump in.
The thing that threw me for a curveball was it was like Killer in Paradise, and I thought it was going to be Paradise Killer 2.
Paradise Killer 2, yes.
Or some sort of Paradise Killer spinoff. I know those developers had just put out another game, so the likelihood of that was slim, but I was still like, you're going to do another Paradise Killer? That's fine. Danganronpa 2, which is cool because I feel like those sort of games need to make sure they like exist, and because they are unique. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, it got a release date, December 4th. It also showed off a motorcycle, which I have no idea how that's going to work. It doesn't quite look open world. It looks like open areas. We'll have to see. It didn't really show a lot. I was almost kind of even surprised that it was even necessary in some ways. I don't know. It felt very late in the game to kind of show this thing off out of nowhere, but it finally has a release date. For God's sakes, it's finally happening. And then there's Donkey Kong DLC, Emerald Rush, and this guy got an hour of hands-on time with it already. So if you're interested in that, you should watch my preview. I go all in depth on it. Now, of course, the DLC is available now. It is a paid DLC, and you do have to complete the base game for it. But if you're on the fence about getting it, give my video a watch. Hopefully I clear up some information for you on it, but that's out today, right now. Now, for those of you who watch this channel or know who I am, you know that I'm a big Resident Evil person. So the inclusion of seeing Resident Evil in a Nintendo Direct was awesome. The other interesting thing is that this new Resident Evil 9 trailer showed new stuff. However, still not enough. This is a tangent just really quick for a Resident Evil fan that I just don't know what this game is still. I just don't know what I've played this game. I've played 30 minutes of this game twice, and I've seen a ton of trailers, and I have no idea what it is. What is going on? Is it a marketing thing? It has to be. And maybe it's because they're so confident in it that they don't need to show stuff. But anyways, I digress. The important information is that it's coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 on launch day. So that's pretty interesting because that to me shows a pivot in how third parties are looking at Nintendo and that they're willing to put what I would say is a big AAA flagship game that you would normally see on the top tier hardware in the world of the PS5s and the Xboxes and the PCs, and yet it's coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 day one. That's pretty cool. I think that's showing that the language around Nintendo and its hardware capabilities is changing a great deal. Also, a weird thing is it's Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village, which I kind of had a suspicion would come along to the Nintendo Switch anyways, too. It's coming the same day as Resident Evil 9. So that's a lot. That's a lot of Resident Evil for a day. Like, what are you going to do with all that goopy, scary stuff? Well, when are you going to play first? Do you have to play the other two to play 9? I don't think so. I have a feeling you don't have to. No. I have a feeling they're like leaving that storyline in the dust. And then, of course, the last very big takeaway is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, which is, you guessed it, coming 2026. Now, there is a lot of valid speculation that this game takes place in the same world as Three Houses, likely maybe even somewhat of a pseudo-sequel. It features a character that we've seen in the original game. It even showed off some UI that looks very similar to Three Houses. So they ended the Direct with that, and I think for a lot of people, that was a big banger. All right, that was a lot for 60 minutes.
What'd you rate it?
What would I rate it?
What'd you rate it? What'd you give it?
Like out of 10?
F to A.
F to A. I would give it a solid B because it gave... No, I'm going to take it back. I give it a B+. I give it a B+ because it showed a consistent amount of games for a long period of time from now into 2026, including some surprises, as well as an example of how third-party companies, third-party publishers, and AAA games are now looking at the console, a la Resident Evil. It gave, I think, the drip feed that Nintendo is doing is going to be good for the long haul of this console, instead of just like putting games out all at once. Yes, it's been a bit of a slow sort of treading along, but it feels like Nintendo's playing the long game and will probably be giving you a reason to pick it up every single month.
Yeah, I feel like come around like a year from now, the thing could be a much more enticing purchase.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, folks. Nintendo stuff. All right, I'm Kurt and Davina. Thanks for watching. Put in the comments, what would you rate it? F to A. A+? F? Is there an F-? Is that a thing?
I think
or
so.
is it just F? Shows how good I did in school. That I never got an F to know. All right, bye.